It's a game of political chicken. The White House says Republicans should come clean about how much they're willing to raise tax rates on the rich. Republicans counter, saying the president's plan is a joke that avoids tough decisions. We're looking to rise above the partisan politics and get a deal done. Our guest hosts are looking to do the same. David Walker is the CEO of the Comeback America Initiative, and Steve McMahon is a Democratic strategist and co-founder of Purple Strategies. As you know, red and blue together make purple. But then there's different shades. There's dark purple, there's light purple, there's purple that seems more red, there's purple that seems more blue.
I would have thought that Steve would have had on purple today.
Yeah. Well, I should have. It would have been good branding, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. David, and the only reason I'm starting with you is because you when you came out, we already spoke a little off camera, and you want time for slogans is over. We need solutions, and what you're saying is we know this, but we're having trouble with it, and that is there's this short-term thing and there's a long-term thing. It's hard to look at the long-term when the short-term is staring us in the face, but you're still telling us we need to do that.
There's a way to bridge this and to save face on both sides. We need to recognize that the short-term challenge is the fiscal cliff. The structural challenge is what it's going to take to get a grand bargain. What we need to do is to avoid the fiscal cliff, have a down payment of both spending reductions and effective tax rate increases geared towards the well-off, all right? We need to defer most of the major spending reductions and tax rate increases until a date later than 2013. Couple that with a deferral of the debt ceiling limit to the same date so that we can achieve a grand bargain in 2013, which will be budget controls, comprehensive tax reform, social insurance reforms, those types of things. We have to be realistic about what can be achieved before the end of the year, and we have to build to achieving a grand bargain in 2013.
Steve, last year, we know how close everyone got, and we also know that the president commissioned Simpson and Bowles and all those people to come to a fix for our long-term problems. Now, they came up with 28% as a tax rate. They came up with 3-to-1 in terms of spending cuts versus tax rate. The president's nowhere near embracing that at this point. We're so far from that at this point it seems like the opportunity was missed last year.
Well, right now the president's plan is at 2-to-1, according to the administration's estimate.
We can get 3-to-1 done.
And it's an opening bid. I mean, they basically took it up to the members of Congress last week, the leadership on the Republican side, and they said, "Here's our plan. Where's yours?" And the Republicans laughed at them and sent them out of the room. And
right.
How is it at 2-to-1? Because I've seen different numbers, either 1.6 trillion to 400 billion or 600 billion.
I hate to use the word fuzzy math, but they say there's $1 trillion in savings, which isn't fuzzy at all. That came from last year's budget agreement. There's another amount that was already agreed on.
That's not given.
Well, but it's spending cuts, and it's from a Democratic perspective, it's spending cuts without any corresponding revenue. And then there's the war savings, which is a little bit fuzzy because it's real savings, but how much it is kind of anybody's guess.
Why go up to 39.6 if you're eventually going to 28?
Well, I think the reason to go up to 29 or 39.6 is to create pressure to get to 28. So I actually think David's plan is a great one. You've got to give these politicians in Washington an opportunity to save face. The Republicans are fixated on rates. The president is fixated on rates. So if you say, let's extend for a year the 98%, let's take the top 2% up for 1 year, and the Republicans, you have a year to basically find some other way to get that revenue. And if you can't, they stay where they are. That would effectively push that part of the cliff another 12 months down the road. But it enables the president to get his higher rates next year. It enables the Republicans to say that we're not supporting higher rates because we're going to find the savings. And then they either find it or they don't.
And here's the key. It's effective tax rates, not marginal tax rates.
No, it is marginal.
That's what I don't understand.
Hold on.
They want marginal.
But we're in a negotiation. Let me clarify what I mean, all right? The president wants to increase taxes on the wealthy. The Republicans don't want to increase marginal tax rates. Let me give you a concept. The concept is pick the number. $500,000, $250,000. Obviously, wealthy is different depending on where you live. That's going to be negotiated. Limit deductions and tax preferences for people above that level for 1 year, okay? That includes, let's say, raise the cap gains rate from 15 to 20, but for only those people. Do something on dividends, but only for those people. Why don't you have those individuals not be able to get any deductions other than what I get and most mainstream Americans through the alternative minimum tax, namely one mortgage up to $1 million or mortgage interest and charitable contributions. That way you can increase the effective tax rate of the wealthy without increasing marginal tax rates, and then we can bridge to
it seems to me, Steve, that I don't understand why that's not the Democrats' plan. I mean, if you're looking at effective tax rates, that's a better way to really...
What percentage of your party would say that the president caved if he agreed to that? Half? Three-quarters?
But you know what?
At least three-quarters would say that he caved if he did.
If the Republicans agreed, I mean, look, this is going to have to be a deal that makes the left unhappy and the far right unhappy, or it's not going to be the kind of deal that will get the middle together.
I don't think he's willing to make the left unhappy.
Well, here's the thing.
Did you read this?
No, I've read this,
in the journal and in the
But Joe, the Republicans aren't willing to make the rich unhappy. 98% of America.
They just said they're willing to raise it in a way that they put revenue on the table.
Well, they put revenue on the table, but they don't say what revenue. They don't say where it's going to come from. They don't. Well, David does, but
they're talking the same way. They're talking about deductions.
But the Speaker and Mitch McConnell are speaking very vaguely about revenue. They're not talking about specific revenue, where it comes from. They're not talking about specific cuts. They're simply saying we're willing to raise revenue. Well, that's great. Where? What the president did this last week was he put a plan on the table and he said, here's my plan. If you have a better plan, let's see it. And we're going to wait for your plan, your alternative plan, and we'll talk about that. But right now what he's doing, he's shadowboxing. They're saying things rhetorically, but they're not putting any specific
meat around it. It's December 3rd.
It's December 3rd. I mean, come on.
But my concern is the president put a big number on the table with regard to taxes and a small new number on the table with regard to spending. We are mixing things. We have to avoid the fiscal cliff, do a meaningful down payment on spending and taxes, build a bridge to a grand bargain. The big deal is going to be done next year. This year, the objective ought to be in the short term, reduce the deficit for next year. And our long-term goal needs to be, forget about baselines. Baselines are a game. They can be manipulated by all sides. We have to focus like a laser on getting debt, public debt, as a percentage of the economy down to 60% by 2024. That's what the focus of the grand bargain needs to be. We can get this done.
You've seen where you're trying to sell your house for $1 million and someone gives you an offer at $200,000, and you don't even answer that offer.
Right.
I mean,
but that's not what this is. It's December 3rd. It's December 3rd, and you know what? There was an election. And the president won the election.
That was not a serious offer.
It was an offer, and the Republicans haven't made a serious or a non-serious offer, Joe. And the question is,
unfortunately, they still got the House, and to do a law, you got to go through the House. And
that's right.
I know
where's the House plan?
Where is it? I don't know, but
stay tuned.
Yeah, wait.
Stay tuned.
Is it here? Is it here?
All right.